Check 1, 2. Got microphones on. We've got microphones on.
Check 1, 2.
Looks like we've got microphones on. Okay, now we'll change things up a little bit here with the audio. There's a channel change in here, so we'll see how the audio goes on the intro. Well, let's get right into it. Let's actually do this first.
Is it this morning doing this, or are you doing this throughout the week?
It was a little bit last week. So I should be able to fade the music and go 3, 2, 1, hit. Fade the music back in. Fade the music back in as we come back in. Pretty neat.
New intro.
Pretty neat. Added a couple things there. Hey guys, welcome back to Surely Sound Studio. My name is Martin. You can call me Marty. This is my show. So let's go. We got AK with me today. How's it going, man?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Glad to be back this week.
Sweet. Sounds like everything's working good.
Perfect.
So let's get into it. Okay, turn the music down a little bit. Everybody's doing good. We are looking at Bitcoin on the 15-minute chart here. And I think it's going to get a little spicy this week because we got a few things going on here and a few things we need to talk about. So first of all, we're gonna get at gold and silver. You're probably wondering what's going on with that. We're gonna talk about that a bit. We're gonna get into M2 money supply, how that's going to affect some things, and we're gonna look at some of the things that are going on, scheduled to happen this week in the world of economics and the world of finance. So let's get into it. Let's zoom out a little bit here. Start by doing a little bit more of a top-down analysis instead of zooming right in for price action. But this is Bitcoin on the daily. We put this green box down here, DCA zone, I think a couple weeks ago. We are still anticipating this green box to be getting hit. Now, higher prices for Bitcoin before that happens? Possibly. I think a couple weeks ago, I was talking about a long from here and looking at these two as the targets. Personally did not take the long. I may have taken a little long, but I've closed it by now. I've been shorting, and I'll probably look to short again up here and look to short again up here, because what we're looking for is the move down to here. These little moves are nice. You can do, you can make a bit of money on those, but you got to have higher leverage to make worth coin on these small moves. And I don't really like higher leverage because there's higher risk of getting wrecked when you have higher leverage. So I like to use lower leverage and look for the bigger moves. Patience in the trading game. You don't need to get paid every day. And in fact, if you're trying to get paid every day, you're probably going to get wrecked. Let the trades come to you, and then you can capitalize, and just makes things a lot less stressful, which is nice.
Yeah, no, I like doing lower leverage over multiple days, weeks, even sometimes.
Absolutely.
Just adding to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually zoom out a little further, we've had quite a nice long opportunity back in early mid-December up until about right now. I would say possibly might be a top if you left it open.
Yeah, well, so this was holidays basically in here, and we had Q4. Oh, Q4! Oh.
Yeah.
Everyone thought Q4 was going to go like that in the opposite way, but we here at Surely Sound, we were talking about realistic.
We knew better.
We were talking about realistic potential here, and when you see this kind of thing, that's just, especially if you go on the weekly, failed auction, tweezer top, bearish divergence, sweep the lows and get instantly rejected. It's just typical top structure looking stuff, and at least for a cool off. It's a temporary top. And that's the thing about with Bitcoin, is that all tops will always be temporary. So we know that there's a limited supply of Bitcoin, and we know that all they do is add money to the system, and we value everything in the money that they add to the system. So therefore, the illusion of everything going up due to inflation is because of the inflation of the currency, debasement of the currency, right? So this was only a temporary top before moving higher, and then this was a temporary top before moving higher, and another one before potentially moving higher. But
we're going to also have lower bottoms possibly at the same time.
Well, the thing is if we do move up right here, then we are now pushing the bull cycle further than we ever have before, which means we will probably push the bear cycle further than we ever do before. So, and honestly, don't really want to see this go up right here, because if we see this going up right here, it's simply because of the money supply. So this was 2020. This is the current money supply before 2020 and the situations that happened in 2020. It's up and to the right. It's pretty consistent, adding money to the system. They know what's going on, right?
Every year, yeah.
So that's how they create and stimulate an economy. Continue to make sure there's money for people to spend, to have jobs, to keep the ball rolling. Okay.
Bitcoin works in reverse.
Yeah, works in reverse. So people are scared of it for that reason, but it's okay because we've already established an economy. We don't need to build one, we need to sustain one.
Yeah, we need to maintain, and growth needs to be progressed slowly. It's not, let's do this all at once, here we are, inflate the economy, nobody can live.
The thing is that we have the same economic mindset that we've had for 100 years. And 100 years ago, we were trying to create and build cities.
Well, right? Factories and factory workers.
Right. And so we've gotten to the point where that's now hurting us. So we need to scale back a little bit and then learn how to sustain. Yeah. To continue to move forward and be prosperous. But of course, that's not profitable. Yeah. So we've been continued to be pushed further and further and further, to the point where obviously they know something's happening. To have this happen is like, this is astronomical.
But nobody was looking at that, right? Everything was
Of course. But they did this on purpose. Like this has to be known publicly. This was done on purpose to inflate and debase the currency to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Yeah. Okay, 100%. There's no other reason.
Like middle class doesn't exist anymore.
They don't want it to.
I know people think it does, but it doesn't.
Well, the American dream was the middle class, right? Yeah. You didn't have to be elite to do everything and have everything you wanted to do and have.
Yeah.
But you did, but you weren't poor, right? Like in the East, in 250 years ago, people moved over to the West to start their own colony because of currency debasement. Yeah. Right? It's not a new thing. It's happened ever since there's been currency. There's been currency debasement. It works for a bit to stimulate the economy, and then it stops working once the currency loses its value because it's been added to too much.
Yeah, well, eventually the same thing will happen to Bitcoin when the last Bitcoin is mined and the last sat. And well, I mean, that's 100 years down the road, so we can learn how to create another system to go along with it and transfer it. That's kind of the point of that.
It could be a stepping stone into the future of heading in the other direction. But like ultimately, I think it's hard money though. So it will happen a whole lot. It'll take way longer. And if we have these fiat currencies lasting for 150 years on average, then Bitcoin should be able to last for 1,000 years, no problem.
Well,
should be. Because the thing is that we don't need to build our economic structure anymore. Yeah. Okay, we have everything that we need to. If we want to build more of something somewhere else in the world, we can. Okay, so we don't need to
improve on what we have.
Yeah, we don't need to print money to build that building. Let's wait for the value to be gained by actually providing value to then in turn build that building. Instead of just printing money out of nowhere, do it. We need positive GDP. No. We need to make sure that people are actually providing value so that we can sustain. So we don't print the money. We wait till that money is earned. Hard money is earned, and then we build the building. right? So
Which would, make sense.
that's how we sustain, right? Is if we just print, then nobody has to do anything to build the building. Well, then there's a system that has a clear ending.
Yeah.
At some point that will fall, obviously.
That's where we are.
Right, and that's where we are. But a lot of people don't understand economics or finance, so they're like, it's funny, like some of the messages that I've gotten in recent years after I've been posting these videos, literally just trying to help educate people so that they can make their life better. Because if you understand how the financial system works, you understand how everything works, you understand that that's all just a show that's manipulated by the financial system to keep you in line and to keep you a funnel for their elite system. Okay, so if you figure out how this works, then you're not going to be able to stop it, but you can at least benefit from it. Okay, because if everybody understands how it works, that's how we all benefit from it, and that's how ultimately they get overthrown, because then everything would get equally divided if we all did the same thing. If we all did the Rockefeller waterfall money situation, like if everybody understood how all that worked and everybody did it, then it would be fine, and then things would be divided out a little bit more equal. But the lack of education is the direct result of the lack of value held, in turn becoming poor, because you don't understand how it works. And it doesn't even matter your education. Like if you're a doctor and you don't know how the financial system works, very rare probably, but I'm just saying, like, you can make a lot of money. People that win the lottery, for instance, make a lot of money, but don't know how this financial system works, so end up losing it all.
Yeah, because they put it in a savings account.
Yeah, because they give it to the bank.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so that's something that people need to understand. A bank isn't designed to hold your money. It's designed to lend it out. And you're not keeping it in a safe space for storage or anything. You're a creditor. You've given that bank a loan, and then they've gone out and loaned it 10 other times. So where's your money? It's not there. And
then they've charged interest on all that money that doesn't exist already.
Yeah, they charge 10% interest loaning your money out 10 different times, while they give you less than 1% back.
Yeah.
So why not keep your money in Bitcoin as a savings account and watch it grow 100% a year?
Here's the thing about the bank, that's been common knowledge for a long time.
But people still, I mean, they just don't get it when you explain it to them, though.
But what's really, like, what people need to do now, because the agenda is clear and we understand what's about to happen, money now is in the bank anyways, is numbers on a screen.
Yeah.
That is it. Okay? So that's a third party holding your value. Now, if that third party is compromised, what happens to your value? Now, we have insurance, right, which is supposed to help everything out. But what happens if that insurance doesn't have enough money to cover all the people, because the bank is so big that it has fallen larger? Its fault is larger than the insurance can cover. Okay, these are the type of things that we are going to start seeing and have already seen in 2022. This is what you see here, right? So this is why the money supply matters so much. What do you got? Oh, wow, that's good. Very good.
That's some Spider-Man.
Good job. Well done. This is why the banks that we had failing in 2022 is because they're pulling money out of the system, right? They were trying their hardest to cool this off, because this creates inflation. This creates more expensive goods and services, and everybody gets pissed off because everything now costs twice as much, right? So this happens. They try to calm it down. They try to calm it down. They can't, because then the banks fail, because they're relying on this printed money to refinance all the loans given in this time. So mathematically, does not work, okay? All the money that they gave out at a low interest rate needs to be refinanced 5 years later. So they cannot continue this trend without everything falling apart. So now we have seen this. So in 2023, October 2023, when the bull market started, right? Watch how it coincides. November 2022 was the bottom. August 2023. Where are we? Right? So right in here is right in here. Same thing. So Bitcoin will continue to go up as long as the money supply goes up, because we're denominating the value of Bitcoin in dollars. And when you add to the dollars, the true value of the dollar goes down. In turn, you see that in the price of assets going up. That's why we know Bitcoin is going to go up and to the right forever. Now, are we going to see some sort of bear market in 2026? I do believe so. Look at this line. It's starting to kind of go flat. This is only updated once a month again too. So the M2 money supply, again, like
Really, once a month?
That's all we get.
That's great at
all we
tracking
get.
where money is.
That's all we get. This is straight from the Federal Reserve. This is all we get. Once a month. Again.
This is what you put your life into.
Well,
God.
This is what I know, right? Like, so this is
yeah.
This is the kind of thing that I'm trying to like make people aware of. They do this on purpose. Yeah. They know exactly what's happening every day.
Oh, of course.
They're not going to tell you though.
No.
They're not going
to. They're going to make all their gains over the month and then report it to you and go, oh, well, you should have done what we did last month.
And how much fraud actually is lying underneath this as well.
I mean, that's all relevant or easy to find on the internet there.
Yeah.
Proving to you that how are politicians outperforming Warren Buffett?
This is the reason why. No, this is the reason why. I believe their 2026 is going to have a bear market because we have so much instability right now in the financial market that it's really actually causing hard times for quite a few people. So we have things becoming more expensive and people not getting paid enough. We have a lot of the fraud that's going on, and social media is going nuts with fraud and not paying taxes, and the system is rigged, and so people and the system is rigged, and people are looking to push back. And I think this is honestly all by design. They're wanting the people to push back so that they have a reason to crash the markets, because we know they want all the Bitcoin. We know they want all the assets. We know they want all the houses. Okay, they want all the assets because they know that the dollar is valueless, and even though it's valueless, it's still losing value every day. Okay, they know that's going to happen. We know that's going to happen. So how can they get as much as they possibly can before they actually lose the dollar standard?
Print.
They have to crash the markets. They have to convince people to sell, because the only time they can buy is if somebody's willing to sell. So they crash the markets to panic people out. That's what they did in 2020. They panicked the market out and then brought it right back up.
Which is crazy to think that.
So whoever sold their Bitcoin,
people were selling back then just because they lost money.
Exactly. Selling.
Just hold on to it. It's value. It's not dollars.
And this is what happened. So selling in the 2020 crash right here, this was astronomical, right? Shook the world. Then what happened while you were paying attention to social distancing and masking and everything else? They printed that much money. Okay. Yeah. And it reflected in the prices of assets, groceries, Bitcoin, everything. Okay. And then it came back down because, of course, humans are greedy and it was overvalued. And so right about here in the news, you were supposed to buy Bitcoin. That's how they sold. So just the same as when they need to buy low, they need to convince you to sell. They need to sell high, they need to convince you to buy. So on the news, you saw a bunch of stuff about Bitcoin. A lot of people bought. So many people bought right here in this week.
Yep.
So many people bought this week. And big money sold. And big money sold. And big money sold. And they convinced you to try. And then banks collapsed. FTX collapsed. Celsius collapses. All this stuff happens.
And look at that big
Silicon Valley. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and then finally we have people buying. One more crash for FTX collapse. And it only brings us down to here, and that was the biggest news event of the whole bear market, was the FTX collapse. SPF is going to jail. They dragged that out, that whole trial and everything else. They drug that out all the way, like they made sure that you were paying attention to that while this all happened. The whole trial and all that stuff, like it went on for months. It was ridiculous. Now you don't hear anything about them because it's on to the next thing.
Well,
and they bored us for almost a year here, straight sideways, and then Germany sold all their Bitcoin and somebody else bought it up, and then boom, right? So like this is what happens. This is what happens, and this was gonna happen. But I do think they are trying to artificially put together, because the agenda is clear, so they are going to try and create a very similar situation to this right here. This is where we are right now in the cycle. Had the top, going down, consolidating, trying to gather people's hopes and make them buy so that they can again turn sell. But the thing is that the only way we'll see this catalyst right here is it'll be a major news event. Okay, the charts are already telling you that something's going to happen here. And if we see a rejection up around the 100K area again, and then it doesn't break 100K and hold, we actually see a rejection that comes down, watch 2 or 3 days later what happens in the news. There will be a reason created for the chart. Basically, they'll be like, okay, not enough people are buying, we're going to sell, boom. How are we going to sell and tell these people that we're selling, and so that we can buy down here? So I've already got on this chart where I'm interested in buying. You think I'm the only person that is interested in buying down here? That's right. Even she knows.
Yeah, she's interested.
She knows, because we talk about this openly in my house all the time. There is a lot of people that want to buy down here, and they don't want to buy up here because, I mean, I honestly haven't bought Bitcoin over 100K. And if you've been in it for a long time, you understand how it works. Why would you? Like, I think the highest I've ever paid for Bitcoin, of course I lost it all and have none again, but highest I've ever paid was 999,000. I was like, I'll take this. And that was probably somewhere in here before we actually had the top. When we came back, or no, it was in here on the way down, probably somewhere in here maybe. Anyways, irrelevant. But it's like, we know, and again, let's look at the weekly indicators. Money flowing out, getting close to buy, but it's a very, very smart decision to buy in the red and sell in the green.
Really?
So,
that's a.
And look at this is exactly what I was just saying. Where we are here, money flow coming out. Money flow happens to go into the red just a few weeks later, and then we spend the next 11 months in the red. And this is when you'd be DCAing.
Yeah, this is all year. Buy.
DCAing.
Take loans out to buy more.
Right? So just look where we are compared to the charts. I mean, maybe a news event doesn't have to happen, but it most likely will, because the thing is that the money printing is stopping the bear market. Like, and they really are, like, honestly, they're trying to create what's called a soft landing, which means there is no struggle. Like, there is people out there that are trying to make things better, but it's an uphill battle, literally an uphill battle, and you've got nothing to fight with. So they have to use, unfortunately, market manipulative tactics as their monetary capture devices. We don't have to do that. We can just use Bitcoin and stop and ignore their BS and just stack sats. Really, because long term, if you're in the age where all this stuff has affected you the most, that's anybody who's in their teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, you still have years to plan for. You can stack sats regardless of economic structure or media narrative, and you will be better off in 10 years, one way or another.
Think about it like this. Imagine waking up when you're 85 years old and you got nothing of this, and you think, God, if only I had 50 years to go back and change all that. Well, you're there right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So change it. Start buying, start DCAing. You know, I'm not like Marty here where I only or I set my zones and I buy. I just DCA whenever I want, just whenever I get paid, because that's the lifestyle that I live right now. You know, I'm not quite up to where he is in his intelligence yet, so I just like to
and that's easy.
Make sure that I buy because it's easy and simple, and I just stack it like a savings account, and guys, you know, it changes lives.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the oldest Bitcoin that you bought is always the most valuable.
Oh God, yeah. I look back at that, it's nuts.
It ages well. It doesn't matter when you buy, when you're looking long term.
No, and it's just nuts to be able to go back, you know, years ago and look at that first, you know, sat you bought or whatever you paid, and look at the value of the first one you bought versus years down the road at the value of what it is now. It's incredible to see a system work where You put money in a savings account and it grows. It's amazing. It's kind of
what you were promised.
Yeah.
When you were first getting into the bank, when you
now
first
I
got
have
in
it.
your little book, and they're like, "Hey, Mr. 5-6-year-old kid, you start a bank. Hey, come on in, man. We'll have you for sure.
Yeah.
You put your money in, we'll give you a little book."
The problem is Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't have a bank that you go into and they tell you this. They got people like this guy right here telling you, and
yeah. Well, so the big thing is too, and I think I kind of got sidetracked. I was trying to get to this point, but the third party thing, the money that you see in your bank account is just a number on a screen. So if that bank or that third party, I need help. The money that you put in a bank account is just money on a screen. So if that third party or that bank is compromised due to economic uncertainty or structure collapse or whatever happens, right? Whatever happens, if it's compromised, then your money's compromised. Now, Bitcoin on exchanges is the exact same thing, so you need to be educated on this. If you have your Bitcoin on Wealthsimple, then it's potentially subject to just the same attacks or whatever that your bank is. But if you put Bitcoin on cold storage, then you are the true owner. There's no third party, and nothing aside from your own fault is going to compromise that value.
Yeah, it's basically another version of gold.
Exactly.
You can physically,
but you can send it worldwide instantly.
Yeah, that's the difference. But if you want to physically hold it, you can.
And that's the thing too. It's like when you go to the bank and you ask for your $3,000 that it says you have in your account.
They ask you why. They won't give it to you.
They might give you a hard time. Yeah, they might give you a hard time, but they'll give you the money, hopefully, depending on how much it is, right? Eventually you'll get the money. But the thing is that you don't actually have that money until you holding that cash in your hand, okay? When it's numbers on a screen, it's an IOU. When you take it out, you have it, okay? And people like to have that cash. Okay, so this is the same thing. We're in a digital era now, right? We're not using candles to light our house. We're not using horse and buggy to drive to work. Okay, we're using cars. We're using almost self-driving cars.
We're
we're
not
moving.
the best, but they were.
Yeah, right.
They
Well,
were.
that's where we're moving to, right? Technology continues to move forward. Even people that hated on electricity when it first came, like it's the uphill battle. Why would you do that? It's inevitable. Technology is going to move forward whether you like it or not.
Yeah, learn how to live.
You have to adapt. You have to adapt because the kids always will. And with the generations that move up and grow, they are going to be the ones that truly adapt to technology. So my kids are going to be the ones that are using Bitcoin on a regular basis. Their kids are going to be in a system that is fully structured around Bitcoin. That's how it's going to work.
Well, you already see the generation below us. They've lost their minds with the older generations because of the system they've been born into. They've been born into the bottom part, the failing end of the system, and these people who built it and destroyed it are sitting fine, wealthy, and then saying, "Oh, just pull up your bootstraps and go get another job."
Yeah.
You know what? Life don't work like that.
Yeah, no. If we're gonna have to work a little harder, we're gonna push back a little harder.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I really hope people are starting. It seems like people are really starting to get it too. It's like we have the numbers. We decide what happens.
Yeah,
we have the control. Don't tell anybody else that they have the control. Don't listen to anybody else that tells you that they have control over you. It's like, no, we are the numbers. We are the consumers. We are the ones that work and spend the money and keep the economy going. Okay, the people up top, they don't do anything.
No, they're just there to brainwash you.
Yeah, don't let them tell you anything. Think for yourself.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, think for yourself. Stop listening to everything you've been taught, because that's why you're failing. If you haven't asked the questions why to anything yet, well, yeah, you're not going to get educated.
Exactly. I have depression. There's a pill for that. I have anxiety. There's a pill for that. I need subsidy because I'm poor.
I just hear the name Rockefeller every time you say that. It's just this family that created the oil and gas.
It's designed It's designed for the demise of a human race. It's brutal, and they get constantly richer from compound interest. Every time a dollar is printed, they get richer.
Yeah. Do you think those guys are going to work 9 to 5, paying a mortgage, having to struggle?
And then they keep their kids. They keep their kids properly educated so that it continues to go the right way.
Well, it stays in the family.
Exactly, right. And so it's like you can do it too. With the internet, we have.
Oh, it's all there. It's all there for you.
We have the knowledge. We have the capability to do it. But on to this. Let's look at, speaking of gold and stuff, let's look at gold.
This is wild.
So this is what gold's been doing. for the last year, closing having quite a big bounce here. So every time we get a big sell off, it climbs back up again. Basically, gold looks like the new meme coin. And look at the volume here. This is what I really want people to pay attention to. So we can go back. This is a daily. We can go back. Let's just go back to 2025, beginning of 2025. Let's make it as small as we can. And keep that volume in there. Okay, so this is all up until the last October of last year. This has been your average gold volume traded. Now look at this. And I do believe this is kind of weird because it happens to all be the exact same, which is weird. Usually when you see high volume, it's kind of like staggered. But this to me, there is a clear daily volume needed of gold. So this is demand. This is demand. This is like strategic demand. And the reason why there's strategic demand is because they're using it in the technology. So this was all paper traded gold, paper traded volume. We actually need the gold for the pieces that we're making, for the chips that we're making, for all the technology that we're using. We need the physical gold to do the job.
So those precious materials are now worth a ton of money.
Well, what happened?
They had that they didn't.
Exactly. They ran out of the physical product.
Nobody's ever going to know. We'll just keep trading paper.
And exactly. But until they actually need it, this is what happens. So, and now these companies, of which all the money is flowing into, by the way, OpenAI, NVIDIA, all of who make all these and are responsible for all this need and this demand, they have all the money. So they're like, we don't care how much gold is. We are going to pay the price. We need it. And we are very rich. So we can pay whatever it takes. Okay. So this is a clear demand blow off. And I don't know if it's necessarily a top yet, because wait till when these volumes start coming off, then we know that, okay, maybe things are starting to stabilize. But I don't see that happening anytime soon because of the demand for the actual product itself. And the same thing goes for silver. Okay. Right around October, they realized that, hey, we don't actually have as much of this material as we said we did. Okay. This is another eye-opening thing to how the world that you live in works, and you need to understand it so that you can benefit from it. Because if you don't do this now, then you will be left behind, because if silver comes back down,
that's going to be a 50% tank if it comes back down to where it basically should be.
Well, it's come from.
That's ridiculous.
It's come from a low of $30.
Yeah, I mean this is
less than a year ago, and it's now up. Let's see on the year. Let's go.
They're gonna. I don't know.
January 2025, roughly somewhere in here.
Wow.
On the year, it's up 214%. So roughly 200%.
That's huge. That's
on silver, and probably pretty much the same thing on gold.
I was gonna say those have to be some of the pretty big all-time returns there.
Let me here, 24, 25, January 2025, somewhere in here. 100% on gold.
Yeah.
It's a higher number. That's how it works. So that's why the meme coin thing works, because everyone who wants to do the meme coin things, it's like, because it's a low market cap. So it takes, if it's $1 million market cap, it only takes $1 million to double the price, right? But Bitcoin is $1 trillion market cap. So it would take $1 trillion to double the price. It's a lot more money. It's why it moves slower. It's why it's maturing.
That's
right?
why it's more stable now. It's not as
absolutely,
volatile
absolutely.
as it
But
used to be.
silver was a lower market cap.
Yeah.
Well, not a lower market cap, but a lower supply.
Yeah, nobody really gave two shits about silver, to be honest.
Or a higher supply, I guess. But yeah, it wasn't used.
Gold is more for the computers.
Yeah, it's clear that gold and silver are in high demand and they're running out. This is what's happening with the volume and the price. Okay, so inevitably, this is the kind of thing that's going to happen to Bitcoin on a larger scale, because the thing is that, okay, everybody's using chips right now for their phones, AI, and computer servers and all that type of stuff, right? So that's basically global demand, and we're seeing it reflect in the price. Now, everybody has to abide by a financial system of some kind, a monetary policy. And when they realize that their policy, because there's already places like Venezuela and places like where they use francs in Budapest and stuff like that, places that have been around a lot longer, they've had their currency already debased. So this has already happened, right? It's not like a new thing. This has already happened many, many times. So inevitably, the dominoes will fall and everybody will resort to Bitcoin, because those who are saving in Bitcoin don't succumb to the currency collapse of their country. They remain to have the same standard of living, even though their currency has been debased around them, and in some cases actually become more wealthy.
Yeah, you're going to be in the top 1% that you've been always kind of dreaming about.
Yeah,
there.
Exactly. The agenda is clear. Do this now, because this is the time to pay attention. We just saw, well, I don't know exactly what's going on with Iran, of course. I only see things on a screen, so it's hard to say for sure, but like there's been a lot of people talking about how the Iranian, don't remember what it's called, is being debased, heavily printed, of course. What they probably need it for relief for what's going on over there, right? So, but what's happening is hyperinflation, and hyperinflation is what's going to happen everywhere eventually. Okay, no fiat dollar backed by nothing is going to ever last, ever. It will last as long as you're willing to put up with the bullshit. Okay, once people actually have nothing and are like then forced to change, then that's when you will. But the smart will change before they're forced to change, and when they see a clear pattern happening and understand that this has happened before and there's no reason that it won't happen again, they're like, well yeah.
Well, I mean, people also got to kind of wake up. You already don't have anything.
Yeah.
But you owe everything. You know, I understand there's two different ways to look at that, but
that's right, though. That's a system that
does collapse.
That's a system that they want. They want everybody to owe and be in debt, because then they have to go to work and they have to be controlled, or it's easier to control them if they have to do this and have to do that. But the funny thing is, it's like, you guys.
Well, again, Bitcoin. Like, it's very simple. You want that 3-day-a-week job? Bitcoin.
Yeah. And that's just what's happening right now. Is a lot of people are saying like they're not going to pay their taxes until the fraud is put. There's clear stress.
It's been way too much. Millions and billions of dollars of taxpayer, and it's like, we're sitting here struggling to put food in our mouths.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like all everybody wants is just to feed their family and have clean food and water. Like it's the people that are unbelievably greedy for reasons I don't understand, that are like just ruining it for everybody. But of course there needs to be a buyer for a seller and a seller for a buyer, so they need to the only way they get richer is if everybody else gets poorer.
Yeah, but it would be nice to see people kind of come together rather than always, I mean, they've got everybody so against everybody now that you can't beat them unless you somehow all grow up and go, okay, we have a common enemy.
Well, that's the thing too.
We're all poor.
Exactly.
So
and when you become a Bitcoiner,
we're all together.
Yeah. When you become, that's true. When we become a Bitcoiner, you understand that there is no side. There's no left and right.
No, we're just together.
It's top and bottom.
We're just together in a world we got to make work. So either do it with respect to each other, or don't do it at all, or currently live in the world we are. It's not going very well.
Yeah, and the thing is when you understand Bitcoin, you can position yourself for both sides.
Yeah.
And we know eventually, inevitably where it's all going. So you gotta do your due diligence, educate yourself, and ultimately we know that everything's going up and to the right because the dollar is going down forever. But let's just have a little look at the week. This is we're back to the 15-minute chart here. A little price action on Bitcoin. Oh, look at that. So there's a failed auction. Might actually short this. I don't have anything open right now. Or any applications open right now. I do have a short position open right now. Should I share my short position? It was a snipe. Probably one of the best snipes I've had. I will.
You're gonna have to go to the 24-hour, or
no? You can go down to the 1 second chart if you want to for this wick snipe.
It was this good.
It was, honestly, I haven't added to the trade because I don't want to compromise the position.
Yeah, right. I know.
A couple times I'm like, oh man, I should add to the short. And I should have.
You don't want to, yeah. You
And I
don't
should
wanna
have, but,
liquidate yourself there.
Let's see if we go into, that's the 5 minute. I'm gonna have to find it because it was a couple days ago now. We'll find it here.
Oh yeah, see that? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's see. Bring this down. Don't need to see all that. But we can put on order history. No, I don't want that. Wrong button. Where is it now? I've never done this on the computer. Or have I? Or it should be. Oh, it should be already on there. I'm on the wrong chart. Come on, where are you? Zoom back even further. It's worth it.
Oh yeah, I can see it because you're going up.
There we go.
Oh.
Okay, so that little arrow is where I took the short because of the swing failure pattern.
Almost hit the top two and then hit it. Wow.
Okay, zoom right in here.
Wow.
Okay, let's bring this over here.
Yeah,
Bring this
you don't
over
want to
here.
add to that. Don't let
So,
maybe.
well, I will add to it eventually,
Yeah.
but we gotta just get the record here. That was my short. So we had the swing failure pattern of this failed auction of this high and then failed auction again. And so I was like, okay, if we come back up into this zone, I'm looking for shorts. And I actually had a limit order right around this high here at, I think it was 97.5 maybe, so maybe a little lower down in here when we were down in here. And then I saw that we were starting to get a little bit of a pump here, and I was like, ooh, so I slid it up and I moved it up.
Oh.
I moved it up to 97.667 on the dot, and it literally filled, and that high was 97.667.1.
Wow.
So it went 10 cents over my entry.
Yeah.
10 cents over my entry. I've already taken quite a bit out of the trade, so it's a guaranteed winner. Stop loss is in profit already, but it's pretty. I'll add to it, but I just thought it was a nice snipe. It was a nice snipe. It was a good one. It was a lot of fun. But so it's literally the top of this wick is where I'm sure, or just below the top of this wick.
Yeah.
And so this is the weekly again, back into the weekly. Kind of maybe looks like we could continue to trend up, but ultimately this doesn't really look great. This is kind of looking more like a continuation for a high, a low, a lower high, and then a lower low. And then that's when we're going to be looking to DCA again. We'll most likely be in the red on the weekly, and that will be nice. But for right now, if we want to try and make a trade this week, let's see, what will we do this week? Let's go down to the 15 minute, and actually let's look at the hourly. It is Sunday, so we've had nothing much happen over the weekend. Our previous high up here kind of came down and made what looks like people would call a bull flag, and then in the weekend. And so we have broken out of the bull flag, but we've just gone sideways ever since. So honestly, if we can get back up above this high volume node here, now see, if we reject this, then we're going to continue to go lower, and we will take out these lows. So this is what we're going to be watching. If we reject here, probably adding to the short, and then somewhere around here when we've had a clear sign of a clear rejection, and we're looking for a move back down to here and possibly to like 93.5 up in some inefficiencies down in here. Now if we can make a little Sunday pump and we can get on top and we can hold this, then we'll look for demand. So we'll look for Monday to probably try and take us down, but we want demand to hold us up. So Monday's trying to take us down, but demand holds us up. Then we're going to look for a long back up into these highs here. And then you'd probably take profit here, and then hold a little bit of the bag for a new high here. But I honestly don't think this next, if we do break this high, I don't think it's going to be quite significant. If we go out to the 4 hour, we can see that we've got this fractal here. So basically you make a high, you make a low, make a higher high, you make a low, you make a higher high, but it's really not as high as this one was over this one. It's kind of rounding, and then you make a lower high, a lower high, and then you lose, and then we go down. So are we seeing one in reverse here? I wouldn't say so, because we made a low, and then we made a higher low, and then we made an equal low, and so we don't really have anything. Like, a lot of people are calling cup and handle here, and then I could call calling a cup and handle here, and it could continue higher. The only bullish thing that I think is a little bit significant here is we have this major bear flag. If you see this blue line and this blue line has broken out, retested, and broken and held up here. So that confluence of strength holding up and over this node would be what would say, okay, we're going to come higher. Now, as me being more of a day trader, I would be taking profits quickly on this, because if we can't get above this high and we can't see some significant volume and some significant strength here, then this will probably roll over. At some point, this is probably going to roll over, whether we come all the way up to 100K or not again or not. We are not looking great on the long term, on the higher time frames. So it would, with any pump, we want to be wary that that's going to be a lower high and potentially a rejection for then a lower low to take this low out. And so that's a pretty big move. So if you're trading, you can make some pretty good coin on that. So up or down, it doesn't matter when you understand how to trade. Long term, it's all about accumulating Bitcoin. If we go from the last high to the low here that we had, we are also seeing a golden pocket rejection. So that is not good. Anytime you see a golden pocket rejection, that's a high probability of lower prices. So again, you want to get up into this area before you're really even, it's probably too late by then. So you want to kind of get in, like we were saying before, on that smaller time frame. If you're looking for the moves higher, you obviously keep your stops tight and look for that structure to hold, and then hop in there, and then up to you whether you want to take profits or not. It could come all the way up to here for sure. It could come and take this high. We've got liquidity. Let's have a look at the heat map and see what we got here. If it loads. Forgot to bring it up before the stream, so see how she goes. We know we've got liquidity up there. All highs and all lows, there's always liquidity residing. It's not going to load, so you don't get it today. But you can always check that out for yourself. But ultimately, yeah, I'm skeptical on Bitcoin breaking 120K anytime soon. We could get all the way up to 113 or 112K and take some liquidity, but again, like I said, it would take some major money printing situation. Pay attention to the narrative and see what's happening, because we do know at some point everybody's going to want Bitcoin and there's not going to be enough to go around. So stuff like this will happen. 100%. Can you imagine if Bitcoin just pumped 100% right now?
Well, can you imagine if
it could?
All of Canada would just get on Wealthsimple and everyone just buy $100 worth of Bitcoin? We'd be the wealthiest country there is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
El Salvador is doing it. They've proven it. It already works.
Let's do it.
There's many people in the world that are already doing it. The math is there. The asset is hard.
Take it away from BlackRock. Take it away from all these 1%ers that you hate. You don't want to live in their world. Yeah. Take it away. The ultimate protest is to
take your money out of their system. Stop protesting that their system is broken. You know that it is. We get that you're crying, but complaining is not going to change your situation. Exactly. Complaining does do nothing. Okay, we get it. We understand that it's not fair or whatever you want to say, but complaining is not going to solve your problem. Now we're testing the POC right now. Testing the POC right now. Let's put a little line right on that guy. Right there. Let's move that up just a little bit. On the yellow POC. And let's make that yellow. And we'll zoom in. And see what happens here. So if you're looking for day trades, you look for ranges. And this is the range we're in right now. And so value area high is the red line. We know that POC of the large range is the yellow line. So confluence here, we already had one failed auction and rejection. Failed auction, rejection. We're trying to do it again. Lots of volume just came in on that last one. So that is when price moves higher and volume comes in, that means sellers stepped in. When price moves lower and volume comes in, that means buyers stepped in, right? Because those people weren't going to come in until the price hit their certain limit. These are limit orders getting filled here, these big volume. These are all market orders, people that are not really knowing what they're doing, most likely gambling. But these are limit orders. These are limit orders. There was a limit set there, and that price was getting ready to be taken before the price actually arrived there. So once it did, boom, 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 big offload. So you see that volume spike, and it happens to be the bottom of this move. And now we see a big volume spike, and it's already been taken out. So this is on Bitstamp. So that's another thing you have to be paying attention to, is that this is on one exchange alone. So overall volume is not something that we can, I don't know, does the Bitcoin index have all volume? I don't think it does.
I don't think there is anything that does all everything. I mean, that would
real-time index
be something to create and get into.
This is the index. Like, it should, if anything were to be relied on volume, then it would be the index, because it's kind of giving you, I believe, a broader view of exchanges. So that same candle, not as much as this candle right here, which is interesting because that was a little local top. So we got, I do believe people are in the camp of taking profits on their Bitcoin when they can, because ultimately it's moved up 300% in the last 2.5 years.
When you've been in it, for long enough, and
it's moved up 10,000% in the last 15 years. So
you need
there's people.
a couple $100, $1,000.
So that's one thing. That's like your retail, and I think that's going to have a lot to do with 2026. There's going to be people that actually have to sell the Bitcoin because they need to.
Yep.
So that's going to affect the market. But what I think is going to be the major player is people that have been waiting for so long. So
15 years.
If you bought Bitcoin in 2010 and you were holding, say, 100,000 Bitcoin that you bought for for $50,000 at the time, or whatever,
$50. Kidding me? It was less than a penny.
Yeah. Okay,
so they were paying you to take it.
But if you want to take that money, say, do you want to buy a house or whatever, you want to do something, you need the market to be able to absorb that, right? So you weren't able to take large amounts out of the market like you were today. Now the market has enough liquidity in it that people can actually sell $100 million worth of Bitcoin.
Because there are buyers.
Exactly. So there are buyers. So ultimately, though, how many, so we know that the large institutions are buying. They have been selling as well, but of course that is just their customers. They're supposed to just do what their customers tell them to do.
They have to pay out profits.
Exactly, and that's ultimately what it is that it's all about making money, right? So they don't care what the price of Bitcoin is.
No, it's a tool.
It's a tool.
The fiat currency.
Exactly, it's a tool. So if you understand how to use it as a tool, the price doesn't matter. And that's what they do, is they're all traders and they're finance gurus. So they move the money around, but they just learn to use it as a tool.
Yeah.
And so
ultimately the best thing is just stacking sats.
Yeah. So long term, if you're coming from nothing and you want to try and improve your life, absolutely.
Generational wealth. You want your kids to be okay.
Yeah. In the digital era.
Stacking.
In a digital era in the future, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. All right. Well, we've almost been streaming for an hour. I think it was pretty good.
Right.
It's a pretty good information, I think, on this one. Look back and we'll watch it a couple years from now and laugh.
like you did with the other ones.
Like all the other ones.
It's 30,000.
Yeah.
Let's be buying Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's
People, come
95.
on. Where are we now? Close 96.
Yeah, where will we be a year from now? I was originally, my price target for the bear market bottom was originally like 42K. But I think due to inflation and the fact that it's speeding up very quickly, I think that we won't see 42K, but we might see 67K.
Yeah, if we go back down to the 70s, yeah, you'll be seeing me at a bank.
Everyone's been like
getting a loan.
It's been given to you the whole time. We were going to 67K the whole time. Everybody knew the whole time. They said it 100 times, 67. All the kids were telling you. They're trying to tell you we're going to 67K. 67.
I don't know where we'll be in a year, but either way, I'll be laughing.
Well, yeah. The thing is that I think in a year we will be lower than we are now, but it all depends on how the physical or the monetary policy is taken care of. There's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of people that just kind of want to exit the system. So anything can happen. We will prepare ourselves for both directions. I think ultimately the goal is that we want to accumulate as many assets as we can, because they are going up in value as they print the dollar. Mm-hmm. So ultimately they're going to try and save the US dollar. And if anyone's going to do it, it's the guy in the orange face,
the business,
right?
Man.
That's what they say. So again, could be another reason why the dollar gains strength and Bitcoin goes down. And actually, speaking of which, we forgot to look at USDT.
The dominance?
The dominance, yes, which is your American dollar crypto version. And we're talking about the downward sloping trend line. I think this was on the daily again, so pretty big time frame here. But we're on the daily. We are breaking out of the trend. Haven't come back to retest the trend yet though, and also we've made a little flag here, and we are now breaking out of the flag and retesting this support, now turning into resistance. So wouldn't it make sense for this to come down and retest this zone in here, back down to 5.5%, which in turn would flip Bitcoin back up to a little bit higher? Mm-hmm. If we went on the daily, just to make sure that we're in reference properly here. Push that up a little bit higher, but then we'll get there when we get there. But if this comes down to here, then Bitcoin's going to go up to here. And would you look at that trend line to trend line, trend line to trend line? Just for more reference, this is a large ongoing trend that goes back to a few years ago. Basically, every single time USDT pushed up, this is where it was put down, and Bitcoin gained strength against it. But ultimately, it has now broken the high and broken this high. So even if you're range bound and you're not trend line, you broke the high, we are stuck back inside the range. We'll keep an eye on this, because if this keeps moving down and keeps showing signs of rejection and weakness, then that means Bitcoin's getting stronger. People are putting their money in Bitcoin and they're not confident in the dollar. Now we know ultimately that there's lots of people that aren't confident in the dollar and they're putting their money in Bitcoin. So it's a battle between the bears and the bulls. Who's going to win?
Yep, it's a transition into the new system. We'll see how long the battle keeps going.
Yeah, exactly. They're just going to try to kick the can down the road, but that's actually beneficial for people that haven't stacked sats yet.
Yep.
Because then it allows you to buy more Bitcoin, gives you more purchasing power to buy all the stuff before you entirely lose currency.
They're giving you the time. They're giving you the money.
Basement.
They're doing everything they can to make you rich.
Education's there. Well, it's to make them rich because
Well,
they know
yeah.
where it's happening, right? But if you get it, then you can also.
They're also
hop
doing
on.
it. Yeah, they're doing it. So the opportunities are there. Join them.
I wish I had one of the videos of a train in like India or somewhere. Where there's just so many people piled on all over top. Like they're driving the train. They know where it's going.
Yeah.
Here's your chance, man. Get on before it turns into one of those trains where you're standing on the roof and ducking under power lines and shit.
That's right.
Because it's happening. But yeah, ultimately, like and subscribe. Join us next week for a little stream. We'll talk about what's going to happen and where we think the price is going to go, and have yourself a good day. Yeah, let's see you on the next one. Peace out. I recommend putting your opinions aside and learning how to think logically.